The other day online we were talking about the various factories that make the Russian 7.62 by 39 or AK ammunition, and it got me to think about something. So I started doing a little bit of research and working on a project, and I pulled out some of my ammo collection here and looked at it from a little different perspective. So I thought I'd put together this video to encourage other AK ammo collectors to get in on the conversation, and also encourage anyone who's thought about collecting AK-47 ammo, again, to encourage you to think about the hobby, because it is very inexpensive. Now, it might look like this is a real expensive collection of ammunition here, but most of these boxes are not full. I might have a couple of rounds that I keep as reference, but this is in general just ammunition that I've either bought over the years and shot, maybe like I say kept a few rounds, or maybe saw someone else shooting at the range and asked them if I could have their empty box for my collection. So what we're looking at here is most of my commercial or stuff available here in the US, ammunition from various countries, some Russian stuff here, some Chinese, some other countries, and then some US stuff there. And again, when we were talking about this and the various factories, it got me to think about that. So I pulled out the collection here, and I'm looking at it from the perspective of country of origin, and I've never really thought about my collection that way, at least never organized it that way. So thought it might be interesting again for other collectors or anyone who's interested in the subject. So it's not really on a tripod. You may not enjoy the video because it's a little shaky, but I couldn't think of a better way to get in and actually take a look at some of the stuff here. So I thought we'd talk about a little bit about these countries of origin, but I think it'll also help explain why I think this is such an interesting hobby or collector's field, because there's so much involved in the AK-47, the 7.62 ammunition that feeds it, and of course all the political and social and economic factors that come into play when you talk about something that's so prolific as the AK-47. So to begin with, we were talking about the Russian factories, and there's 5 major Russian factories. Tula, which we're all familiar with, they do most of the Wolf ammunition. TCW, or Tula Cartridge Works. Then you've got Barnaul, where a lot of the Bear ammo comes from. Look, where's its logo? There's the new Barnaul logo. The older one looked a little bit more like that. Then we've got the Yuli, or Ulyanovsk. Hard to... there we go. The Ulyanovsk, little circle with arrows there. I'm butchering these names, but obviously I'm not Russian. Then we've got the Vampel, which is a little bit harder to come across. And then finally the Kilimisk, I can't say them. But this one's no longer in business. They did a lot of military ammo. So that's there's a lot more Russian ammunition factories for sure, but they do 54R or 545. They did other stuff. This is the 7.62 by 39s. Then we had the Chinese factories. So, you know, the Russians invented it in the early 1940s. Then a couple of rifles or firearms were invented to use the cartridge. In the 50s, it was shared with China. So we've got some stuff here from '66, but we've got some various, again, imported boxes from China. And it's kind of interesting because, you know, obviously the Cold War, you know, Russia became communist and invented the round, and then the AK-47, then they went communist, and all that was secret, you know, it was hush-hush, Cold War and all. Then, you know, finally they shared it with China and other various satellite, you know, Bloc or Warsaw Pact countries. Some of them adopted it, some of them were forced to adopt it. Of course, they created their factories and so forth. Then, fast forward, fall of the Soviet Union, all the satellite countries are doing their own thing. But then we have things like our federal law from here in the U.S., the trade treaty type of things that stopped the importation of anything from China. So no more plentiful Chinese ammunition coming in. New interpretation of the laws stopped importation of steel core or armor-piercing ammunition, so that stopped a lot of this old military stuff from being able to come in. Then we've got other countries that are creating ammunition for the sporting or the recreational shooter, and then we've of course got U.S. involvement with all U.S. brands. So jumping back to our geography tour here, we're in China. Most of these factories are sort of anonymous, you know, coming in under things like North China Trade Organization or whatever NeverEnco stands for. You know, this isn't actually a NeverEnco factory. These are conglomerates that take the resources from those factories, and who knows how they do it in communist China. So, you know, we've got kind of anonymous factories, but lots of head stamps to research there. Then we've got other countries involved. This is some Hansen ammunition, and this stuff's coming in from Yugoslavia. That's neat. Now we've got some Hansen ammunition right next to it. Same stuff, but now it's coming in from Israel. We've got Cellar Bellet from Czech Republic. Got a couple of different types made in Romania. Some kind of clear, you know, generic, probably mil surplus with the bullets removed and repackaged without the steel cores. Then we've got this hotshot stuff that's Century imported. There's another interesting one, this MFS. This stuff, where do we go? This stuff made in Hungary, right? Now let's put that there. Let's find this one over here. Basically the same stuff, MFS, just a little bit different arrangement, still a 20 round box. So what do we find here? You can barely see it down there. Made in Russia, and the new Barnaul logo there. So MFS, another conglomerate that's buying up ammunition and selling it under their name. Then you've got Lapua from Finland. This is wooden ammunition. It's literally made out of wood there, dyed blue. Russian M43 blanks, they call it. Then we've got stuff like this. Again, no name, from Bulgaria. I'd have to take a look at that, but probably, again, military surplus with the bullets removed and full metal jackets installed. Got Fiocchi, probably Italy, even though it says USA on there. I'm assuming they're still making this in Italy. Then we've got the PMC. Boulder City, Nevada, right? How about made in Republic of Korea? So we've got their stuff. Then we've got the US stuff, and I always find it interesting. You get your Russian box of ammo. 20 rounds have always been this size. Sometimes they make it that size for whatever reason. Somehow they're able to stack 20 rounds two different ways. But anyway, always the same little cube. Then you get to American ammunition. Giant box here. Zombie stuff, even a bigger box. Military stuff for some reason, still, you know, bigger box. Well, this is military stuff. Here's literal military stuff. Somehow we still end up making it a bigger box. Again, some commercial Remington, giant box. So that's a little quick skirt around the countries that I happen to have in my collection. And it's something that, since now I'm aware of it, I'm going to pay a little bit more attention to that when I'm at gun shows. Something like this here. You'll find a box of ammo. Some old guy's selling it. It's only got 5 or 6 loose rounds in it. And he's selling it for $2. Most people are just going to pass that by. But no, buy that. Go home, open it up like a little Christmas present. You're going to find head stamps in there. You're going to find, again, that this box is made by the Klimovsk factory. You know, you don't find these too much anymore. So you never know what you're going to find when you start to scrounge around at the range, at the local gun shops, gun shows, flea markets, garage sales. It's something to keep your eye out for. Makes life a little more interesting when you find something like this where you don't expect it, and it all adds up. Like I say, it's not too expensive, especially when you're just collecting boxes and head stamps. It's mostly samples. You take an empty box and you fold it up. If you're not keeping the styrofoam thing from the inside, you can fold up a lot of these boxes and keep them in a fat envelope even. So highly encourage anybody who's thought about collecting AK ammo just to start doing it. And again, anybody who's out there collecting ammo, let me know if you've got anything you want to trade, if you see something that I'm missing, if I've got something that you're interested in. I don't say I have doubles of everything out here, but again, it's something that's inexpensive enough that it's easy to trade. So, hope this was informational and entertaining. Got lots of videos like this available at our various websites and on our channel here. Hope you enjoyed it, and as always, thanks for watching.